Apple is pretty well known for releasing outstanding products. However, not all that glitters is gold. There are many examples, several of which are listed. Number 1. Apple introduced the Butterfly keyboard in 2015, and it initially went unnoticed. However, these keyboards broke down way sooner and resulted in expensive repairs with issues including keys not registering, repeating, or feeling sticky. Reddit eventually became flooded with posts about broken Butterfly keyboards. Apple resulted in it paying out $50 million to affected users. The company finally put the keyboard to bed in 2020 with the release of its Magic Keyboard. Number 2. Apple Maps at launch. Google Maps has been a mainstay in the navigation space for a couple decades now, having just celebrated its 20th anniversary in February 2025. Apple wanted to compete in this space and eventually did so with the release of Apple Maps in 2012. The idea was simple enough. Provide iOS users with an alternative to Google Maps that Apple could integrate directly with Siri and other apps, something Apple would not allow Google Maps to do. But the first few years of Apple Maps were pretty bad. Redditors often cite Apple Maps as being one of the worst products in Apple's history, mostly due to the weird navigation glitches that would send the user somewhere other than where they wanted to go. Number 3. The iPhone 6. Initially, these phones were everything you'd want a new iPhone to be. They were bigger, stronger, faster, and had excellent camera performance. The iPhone 7 even added water resistance, a new feature for the iPhone lineup. The big problem didn't come until the release of iOS 10.2.1, an update that was meant to solve a sudden shutdown issue. It solved the problem by making the iPhone 6 slower. Apple eventually admitted that it was slowing down the aging phone to preserve the rapidly aging batteries, but because the company didn't expressly tell users that it was doing that, it was eventually hit with several lawsuits, most of which Apple lost. Number 4. iPad 3rd generation. Redditors have made it quite clear that the 3rd generation iPad was among the worst devices that Apple has ever made. At launch, the then new iPad offered plenty to be excited about. It had better specs, excellent battery life, and like most Apple products, it just worked. However, the cracks started to show almost immediately. The iPad omitted some big refinements that other Apple products enjoyed. For starters, it looked just like a 2nd generation iPad, and it still used Apple's ancient 30-pin charger instead of the new Lightning port. Things didn't end there. It featured Apple's new Retina display, and the hardware under the hood didn't seem to be up to the task of running all of those pixels. Number 5. For the most part, complaints about Siri are about the same from person to person. There is some task or command that Siri just can't handle consistently for a long time, and it bothers people. It doesn't matter which version of iOS or which generation of iPhone you talk about. The number of stories about Siri getting a command wrong or not being able to do things that the other virtual assistants can do is quite massive, to the point where we could probably link every individual word in this section with a different complaint or story without repeating a single time.